Buckle up, football fans, because the drama just exploded like a Neymar free kick. In a twist so wild it could outshine a Hollywood blockbuster, Carlo Ancelotti, the silver-haired legend who's ruled Real Madrid like a soccer emperor, has been named the new coach of Brazil. But here's the absolute bombshell. Real Madrid hasn't uttered a single syllable about his departure. Not a tweet, not a press release, not even a cryptic emoji. While Brazil's already planning a samba-soaked carnival to welcome their gringo messiah, the Santiago Bernabéu is cloaked in a silence louder than a packed Maracanã. Is Florentino Perez, the master puppeteer of Los Blancos, plotting a secret masterpiece? Or are they genuinely blindsided by their maestro's exit? Welcome to the juiciest, most scandal-drenched football soap opera of 2025, where legacy, ambition, betrayal, and a whole lot of morbo collide. Grab your popcorn because this story's got more twists than a Vinicius Jr. dribble. It all kicked off on May 12, 2025, when the Brazilian Football Confederation dropped a bombshell that sent shockwaves across the globe. Carlo Ancelotti, the 65-year-old Italian tactician who's practically royalty at Real Madrid, will take the reins of the Seleção in June, making history as the first non-Brazilian to lead the 5-time World Cup champions. The announcement was pure theater. CBF President Edinaldo Rodrigues stood at a glitzy press conference, flanked by Brazilian flags, and declared Ancelotti the greatest coach in history. Fans in Rio and São Paulo erupted, flooding X with samba videos and captions like "Bem-vindo, Don Carlo." But while Brazil's dreaming of a 6th World Cup, Real Madrid's response is nothing, zilch, nada. The Bernabéu's silence is the kind of mystery that keeps fans up at night, scrolling X for clues. Is Perez playing chess while the rest of us play checkers? Or is there trouble brewing in the Spanish capital? This isn't just a coaching change, it's a seismic shift in football's universe. Ancelotti's a living legend. He's the man who's won everything. 3 Champions League titles with Madrid, 2014, 2022, 2024, 2 La Liga crowns, 2 Copa del Reys, and a trophy cabinet bursting with 15 pieces of silverware. He's the genius behind La Decima, that heart-stopping 2014 final where Sergio Ramos' 93rd-minute header stunned Atletico Madrid. He's the mastermind of 2022's miracle run, defying PSG, Chelsea, and Manchester City to claim the Champions League. And in 2024, he sealed another UCL crown, cementing his status as the king of Europe. Now he's trading the white of Madrid for the yellow and green of Brazil, tasked with reviving the Seleção's Jogo Bonito swagger. Brazil hasn't won a World Cup since 2002, and the scars of that 7-1 humiliation against Germany in 2014 still burn. Ancelotti's got the talent, Neymar's flair, Vinicius Jr.'s lightning, Rodrigo's finesse, Alisson's reflexes. But can an Italian outsider capture the soul of a nation that lives and breathes samba football? Let's set the scene for Brazil. This is the land of Pelé, who danced past defenders like they were statues. It's the home of Zico's elegance, Ronaldo's raw power, Ronaldinho's magic. Football here isn't just a sport, it's a religion, a way of life. Handing the keys to an Italian, that's a gamble bolder than a Neymar rainbow flick in stoppage time. Ancelotti's known for his calm demeanor, his trademark raised eyebrow, his knack for taming egos bigger than the Amazon rainforest. He's won titles in 5 countries: AC Milan's Serie A, Chelsea's Premier League, Bayern Munich's Bundesliga, PSG's Ligue 1, and Madrid's La Liga. His CV's a masterpiece, but Brazil's different. Fans don't just want victories, they want poetry, flair, the kind of football that makes your heart skip a beat. Ancelotti's got a 3-year deal, reportedly worth 20 million euros a year, and his mission starts with World Cup qualifiers against Ecuador on June 6th and Paraguay on June 10th, 2025. Picture the lineup: Vinicius tearing down the left, Rodrigo slicing in from the right, Neymar as a free-roaming false 9, Casemiro anchoring midfield like a general. It's a dream squad, but if Ancelotti's pragmatic 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 stifles Brazil's chaos, the critics will pounce like piranhas. Now, let's swing back to Madrid, where the silence is thicker than a Spanish paella. Ancelotti's contract runs until June 30th, 2025, and his final match is set for May 25th against Real Sociedad in La Liga. It's shaping up to be the most emotional night in Bernabéu history. The stadium, 81,000 strong, will be a sea of white, with fans waving handkerchiefs and holding banners that read "Grazie, Don Carlo." They're ready to honor a man who's delivered 15 trophies, including 3 Champions Leagues that defined an era. La Decima in 2014 ended a 12-year UCL drought. The 2022 run was a defiance of logic, with comeback after comeback. And 2024? Pure dominance. But why hasn't the club said a word about his exit? Florentino Perez, the master strategist who runs Madrid like a chess grandmaster, is known for controlling narratives. This silence feels deliberate. But to what end? Some insiders say Perez is avoiding a media circus to keep the focus on Madrid's season, which could see them chasing a La Liga Champions League double. Others whisper of tension, claiming Perez is furious that Ancelotti negotiated with Brazil behind closed doors. A wild theory on X suggests Madrid's planning a blockbuster farewell tied to a bigger announcement. And that brings us to the next bombshell: Xabi Alonso. Oh yes, the suave Basque heartthrob who's been working miracles at Bayer Leverkusen is reportedly set to take over Real Madrid on June 1st, 2025. Alonso's the football equivalent of a leading man, charismatic, cerebral, and with a CV that screams destiny. His Leverkusen stint was a fairy tale, an unbeaten Bundesliga title in 2023-24, a Europa League final, and a high-pressing attacking style that left jaws on the floor. He's a former Madrid midfielder who won the Champions League in 2014 under, you guessed it, Ancelotti. Now he's inked a 3-year deal to lead Madrid's Galacticos, stepping into shoes so big they could eclipse the sun. Following Ancelotti is like performing after Beyoncé at a karaoke night, and Alonso knows it. The pressure's galactic, but the hype is unreal. Fans are losing their minds. On X, Brazilian supporters are posting samba videos with captions like "Welcome, Don Carlo." Madridistas are sharing tearful montages of Ancelotti's greatest hits, from Ramos's header to Benzema's 2022 heroics. Some demand a statue for Carlo outside the Bernabéu. Others say it's time for fresh blood. Alonso's got fans hyped too. X is flooded with clips of Leverkusen's goals, hashtags like Zabiera and New Madrid trending worldwide. But skeptics are vocal. Managing Madrid's egos, Vinicius, Mbappé, Bellingham, and a demanding Perez is a different beast compared to Leverkusen's underdog vibe. One viral X post sums it up: Xabi's a genius, but Madrid will eat him alive. Alonso's vision is clear: a youthful, attacking Madrid built around its young core. Expect a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, with Vinicius and Mbappé tearing up wings, Bellingham pulling strings in midfield, and Endrick, the teenage prodigy, adding firepower. But if he stumbles, the Bernabéu can turn from a cathedral to a coliseum. Let's zoom in on May 25th, 2025. The Bernabéu's packed for Ancelotti's final bow against Real Sociedad. It's a La Liga showdown, and Madrid could be chasing a title. Expect a carnival atmosphere, chants, tributes, maybe a video montage of Carlo's triumphs. Picture the stadium erupting as highlights play: Ramos's header, Bale's sprint in 2014, Vinicius's magic in 2022. But there's a shadow. Reports say Perez wants a low-key exit to avoid distracting from the season's goals. Players like Toni Kroos and Luka Modric, Ancelotti's midfield generals, are pushing for a bigger send-off, according to Spanish outlet AS. Some stars like Vinicius and Rodrigo are reportedly devastated at losing their mentor. Will it be all love, or is there a sting in the tail? X posts from Madridistas are split. Some want a statue, others are ready for Alonso's era. The match could be a spectacle, with Ancelotti potentially resting stars to give veterans like Modric a final hurrah. Every decision will be dissected like a VAR replay. Back in Brazil, Ancelotti's mission is monumental: restore the Seleção's aura after a decade of disappointment. The 2014 World Cup semi-final, that 7-1 thrashing by Germany, is a national scar. Recent exits against Croatia in 2022 and Belgium in 2018 haven't helped. Ancelotti inherits a squad stacked with talent. Neymar, if he stays fit, is still a global icon. Vinicius is a Ballon d'Or contender. Rodrigo's a silent assassin. Gabriel Martinelli brings Arsenal's spark. Marquinhos and Alisson anchor the backline. His debut matches against Ecuador and Paraguay are a chance to set the tone. Expect a 4-3-3 with Neymar as a false nine, Vinicius and Rodrigo on the wings, Casemiro and Bruno Guimaraes in midfield. But blending Brazil's attacking chaos with Ancelotti's pragmatic streak won't be easy. X users are memeing about Carlos swapping his suit for a caipirinha, But the real test is on the pitch. The 2026 World Cup, hosted in the USA, Canada, and Mexico, is the ultimate goal. Brazil's hunger literal mente, the pressure is heavier than a carnival float. This saga's got everything: legacy, secrecy, ambition, betrayal. X is a wildfire of reactions. Brazilian fans post Ancelotti edits with samba beats. Madridistas share tearful tributes to Carlo's UCL triumphs. Pundits call it the transfer of the century. ESPN's Gab Marconi tweeted, "Ancelotti to Brazil is wild, but Alonso to Madrid? That's the real story." Web searches for Ancelotti Brazil and Xabi Alonso Real Madrid are up 700% according to Google Trends. Memes are relentless. Carlo in a Brazil jersey, Alonso strutting into the Bernabéu like James Bond. Spanish papers like Marca and AS dig for clues about Madrid's silence, with headlines like Florentino's poker face. Brazil's Globo Esporte hypes Ancelotti as a revolutionary. England's The Sun calls it Carlo's great escape. Italian outlets like Gazzetta dello Sport frame him as Italy's gift to Brazil. Let's dive into the subplots because this drama's got layers. Vinicius Jr., Madrid's Brazilian superstar, now faces his club coach leading his national team. Will Ancelotti favor him for Brazil or bench him to avoid bias? X-posts from Vini fans hype a Brazilian takeover, with one saying, "Vini's about to run Ecuador ragged for Carlo." Neymar, at 33, is at a crossroads. Injuries have slowed him, but a World Cup swan song could cement his legacy. Can Ancelotti unlock one last dance? Brazilian X-users are begging, "Save Ney, Don Carlo!" Then there's Kylian Mbappé, Madrid's Galactico. He thrives on freedom, but Alonso's structured system could clip his wings. French outlet L'Equipe predicts tension, but X-fans counter, "Xabi will make Kylian a god." Another subplot, rivalries. Ancelotti's Brazil could face Argentina's Lionel Messi in World Cup qualifiers. Carlo versus Leo? That's a marketer's dream, and X is flooded with fan-made posters. Finally, there's Ancelotti's legacy. With 15 Madrid trophies and a record 5 Champions Leagues, 2 as a player, 3 as a coach, he's untouchable. But a World Cup with Brazil? That'd make him immortal. X debates about the best coach ever are raging, with Carlo, Pep, and Ferguson in the mix. Let's talk tactics, because Ancelotti's Brazil will be a puzzle. His Madrid teams were masters of control, a compact 4-3-3, quick transitions, and lethal counters. But Brazil's DNA is chaos. Wingers dancing, strikers improvising, crowds roaring. Can Carlo adapt? Picture a hybrid. Vinicius and Rodrigo stretching defenses, Neymar roaming free, Casemiro and Guimarães shielding Alisson's goal. X-users speculate, will Carlo go full samba or play it safe like 2003 AC Milan? Alonso's Madrid, meanwhile, will be a spectacle. His Leverkusen 4-3-3 was a high-pressing machine, with wingers cutting inside and midfielders overloading the box. At Madrid, expect Vinicius and Mbappé to terrorize, Bellingham to dictate, and Endrick to explode. But if the Galacticos don't buy in, the Bernabéu could turn hostile. History adds spice to this saga. Brazil's last non-Brazilian influence was in 1965, when Argentine coach Juan Carlos Lorenzo briefly advised the team. It didn't stick. Ancelotti's the first to officially lead, and the stakes are higher. For Madrid, replacing a legend isn't new. Think Zidane stepping in post-Benitez. But Ancelotti's shadow is massive. Alonso's no stranger to pressure. He played under Mourinho and Ancelotti, won a World Cup with Spain. But coaching Madrid is a pressure cooker. X-posts compare him to Zidane, with one saying, "Xabi's got Zizou's aura, but does he have the trophies?" The global reaction is a frenzy. From Rio's favelas to Madrid's plazas, fans are glued to this drama. Social media's a goldmine. Brazilian kids reenact Ancelotti's eyebrow raise on TikTok. Madridistas flood Instagram with Carlo highlight reels. The story's transcended football, hitting mainstream news. CNN calls it a cultural clash. BBC frames it as Ancelotti's final frontier. Even non-fans are hooked, with X-posts like, "I don't watch soccer, but this tea is spicy." The saga's boosted Brazil's tourism buzz, with Rio hotels advertising Watch Carlo's debut packages. Madrid's merch sales are spiking too, as fans snap up Ancelotti-era kits. What's next? Key dates to watch: May 25th, 2025. Ancelotti's final Madrid match against Real Sociedad. June 1st, Alonso's reported start. June 6th and 10th, Carlo's Brazil debut against Ecuador and Paraguay. Summer 2026, the World Cup, where Ancelotti's legacy will be judged. The drama's unfolding in real time, and X is the place to catch it. Hot takes are spicier than a Brazilian churrasco, from Ancelotti's raised eyebrow to Alonso's smoldering stare. This is a football soap opera for the ages, with legacy, scandal, and ambition at its core. Grab your popcorn because the final whistle's nowhere in sight.